All right, you see that? The negative of the inverter and a positive of the battery. All right, so we pretty much charged it. Welcome to Auto Life channel. We're going to test my Ninja air fryer. This is 1500 watts, and we're going to power it from the EcoFlow Delta 2. And we have the inverter here that's going to recharge the deep cycle lithium battery. This is lithium phosphate battery in here. We're at 77%. I normally keep it at 81%. So we have it plugged in back here. So the test is we're gonna see how many amps it draws. This will measure the amps, and we're going to power this at the highest. I'm going to do dual. Fry, same temperature, and 5 minutes. I guess rate doesn't matter. All right. So, all right, it's there. So we're going to test the amp draw to recharge the EcoFlow Delta 2, and we're going to see how much time we're going to have left when we pretty much draw about 1500 watts from the deep cycle battery. So this is a 1000 watt inverter. Have it hooked up so. Car is on. Inverter is wait to the green light. All right, so let's power it up. I don't have the charging plugged in yet. Now it's going to adjust. It's 25 minutes, so it's not efficient. Now, I believe this particular Ninja pulses on and off like my pressure cooker. It pulses on and off, so it basically gets a certain temperature and then it cuts off. So if it stays at 1600 watt draw, all we'll have left is 24 minutes if it stays there. All right. Yep, it cycled off. Hope you saw that. You can power it. Now again, this is not efficient. So if you wanted to cook something for, get it done in 24 minutes, you can get it done before you would have to recharge it. Now I'm avoiding hooking high amp, high wattage devices directly to my battery. That's why I have the deep cycle battery that's sitting in between. That's how I have this set up. So we're drawing 1600 watts. All right, all right, car just started. That's off. Let's charge this thing up. All right, I have it set to 500 watt charge. So that's the charge. That's how long it's going to take. 53 minutes to get to 100%. But I keep this at 81%. All right. I can put it up and make it go higher. We can make it go to engine's off. Engine just cut off. I'm going to charge it at 800 watts. But let's look at the amp draw first. 4 amp draw. And the car is 4 amp draw, and the car is currently off. 4.128. drawing at from the battery. Alright, so I'm going to put it on 800 watts and we're going to look at the amp draw. Alright, just put it up to 800 watts. Normally when you put it on 800, it goes up to 800, so it's about 7 something. So every time you put on, say, so if I put it on 7, it'll be about 6 something and the high 670s. So it's set to 800 watt charger. Now, when I do power the appliance on at the same time, it draws more amps. So let's look at the amps it's drawing right now. So this is the amps it's drawing when I'm pulling 800 watts to charge the deep cycle battery. So it's pulling 6 amps when I have it charged set at 800 watts. All right, now the point is, again, is to not put the heavy load on the car's 12 volt battery. That was the point. That's why I have this in the center, so I can draw all my high amp and high wattage power directly from the battery, the deep cycle battery, all right, and not the 12 volt battery. So that's my thinking. All right, so at 800 watts, we got 36 minutes to 100%. So we're only going to 81%. And that's the amps that it's drawing. So now it's going to draw more amps if I put a load, like a heavy load on there. All right, it's going to go, let's just look. And that's actually going to drain more of the 12 volt battery. So let me, grab my multimeter. The voltage is going to drop, but let's just do it without the multimeter for right now. Let's just do one burner, one heater at 400 for 2 minutes. So it's at 400 for 2 minutes. Now it's charging currently at 800 watts, but it's below 800 watts, and we're getting, that's the amps is drawing. So it's going to draw upwards to 10 amps. I believe after 10 amps, I believe it may cut off. The car just cut on. All right, the Rav4 just cut off. Come on, go. All right, so you're going to see the watts input jump up because it knows that it's drawing more drawing more wattage, drawing more amps from the device than it can charge. So this is going to request more from the inverter, hence the battery, hence the hybrid battery. All right, because the hybrid battery and the Rav4 charges the 12 volt battery. All right, so we're gonna, and this is what I don't want to happen. I don't want the input to be over 10 amps. Maybe I'm just babying her. All right, and the amps will read on this. Well, let's look at the wattage. Yeah, it cut off, overloaded. Overloaded. Overloaded her. Let's turn her off. Alright. So it went over 1,000 watts. Alright, and that beeping sound you heard was it drawing too much current. So it automatically puts the input above the output so it can actually charge, because I guess it's a safety feature, so the battery won't deplete. So if I want to charge at 800 watts, I have to not have something plugged up to it, or get a more powerful inverter, which I don't need one. I can work with this. I can charge at 800 watts, and I can get the food cooked. So if you actually want to use an air fryer with a 1500 watt or 1600 watt air fryer or anything that's that high, you have to get an inverter that can handle and charge at the same time. You have to get an inverter that can handle that. All right, this is only a 1000 watt inverter. So my thinking is to just, cook or use whatever appliance I want to where I'm done with it. I can turn it off and just charge it up after I'm done cooking. All right. Now, I can hook appliances up to this that don't exceed the 800 watt draw. So I can hook a full desktop computer up to this with a bunch of accessories and 2 monitors, and it'll draw about, for my test, about 300 amps. Well, not 300 amps, 300 watts. All right, so it'll draw about 300 watts. So as long as the output is lower than the input, it should be okay. All right, and as long as it doesn't exceed your inverter. All right, so it's charging there. So it's going to charge about 9%. So it's definitely going to get up to about 81% in probably about 15 minutes. All right, half that time, less than half that time. So it's charging, car is off. I don't feel anything coming out the exhaust. If it's coming out. And it is charging. And watts, car just cut on. 7. That's watts. 6.4 amps. This is charging at 800 watts. Let's get my multimeter and see what the battery voltage is. All right, I have the reading 14 volts, and the engine is off. So the temperature is like 50 something Fahrenheit, like 55 degrees Fahrenheit right now. It's still in the morning, and that's the voltage. I have one on the inverter, other one on the battery. That's how I have it hooked up. So it would be a little higher if I didn't have the inverter on. Well, I can just turn the inverter off. Let me do that. Turn the inverter off. So that's what it's robbing, okay? And it's going to adjust. This is the 2024 Rav4 Hybrid. All right, and adjust it. So we're going to turn it back on. And let that charge. Well, we can get both of them in here. Charging at 800 watts, 6 amps. So keep it at, I would say it's good if you keep it above 14 volts. All right. So I don't want to run these appliances directly off of this battery. I think this is a more efficient battery. You just have to do it in, in steps. Now, if I have to, then I'll go directly, to the inverter. But I think this is a good way to keep the the battery safer from high amperage draws, high wattage draws. All right, keep it above 14 volts. All right, and I'm charging at 800 watts. Now, when it gets near its where you have it set at, it's going to start charging slower. I've been noticing that, and that's what it's doing right now. I do have it set at 800 watts, but I've been noticing this. We've been doing this. We've been dropping the wattage. Let's look at the amperage draw. Oh, yeah. And it obviously, or not so obviously, drop the amperage. All right, because they're related to each other, the amperage and the wattage. All right, so we're talking at 2.5 amps. That's watts. Am I doing that or? All right, yeah, 2, 1. All right, you see that? Okay, so that's what it's doing. Again, have it on the negative of the inverter and a positive of the battery. All right, so we pretty much charged it. All right, that's 100% of where I told it to be at. It better not have went to 100%. I don't think that's even possible. Let's turn you off. That's odd. I don't think that's actually 100% because we went from 71%, I believe we started at. I believe that's just reading that it charged to where I set it at. Let's draw some power from it to actually figure that out. That's a little odd. I hope you saw that. Let's just draw some power. Alright, sun glare's getting in the way. Air fryer 400. Yeah, no matter what time. Turn the inverter off. Alright, went to 100%. I didn't mean for it to do that. I don't know how it did that. Yeah, I don't know how I did that. This is only the second time I went to 100%. I don't know. When I first got it, I charged it at 100%. So that was supposed to go to 81%. I'm clueless to why that happened. But as you can see, it says 33 minutes at 1500 watt draw. 33 minutes. And it's dropping rapidly. I think we can get a meal cooked in there in 33 minutes. Or again, just don't use an air fryer. Use a different appliance. See it drop out. Because it reached the temperature it needed, and it should kick back on. Okay. 17 minutes is still on there. Yeah, so it doesn't use the full wattage 100% of the time. And the inverter is off. Now if I would turn it on, let's see what happens, because it's not drawing virtually any power right now. Get back on, turn it off. It was about to fail. Alright, so it's drawing 1500 watts again. And I don't know if you can hear it, but these fans turned on. And yes, that's still on. I see it blinking. Alright. And it clicked back off again. So yes, so this is how these electric appliances run. At least the Ninjas anyway, they pulse on and off. On and off. Alright, so you went up to 15 hours. So yeah, you can get a meal done. You can get a meal done with this. Alright. Then after the meal's done, you can turn your computer back on. This laying out a scenario. Full desktop computer back on with everything. You'll draw under 400 watts. Alright. And you can definitely turn the inverter on and use the that's pass-through, it's called, to use your computer, your full desktop, or your TV or whatever while charging deep cycle battery. So that has been the test.